I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Pure energy.
Ooh. Good afternoon, Las Vegas. You
Pure
are
energy.
tuned in to KLAV 12:30 a.m. with Real Talk with Clever Minds. I am Miss Please and
It's Mr. Z. What up, people?
today we have on the air, we are still continuing to talk about domestic violence. This is the month to celebrate it. And we have Alexia with Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City. She's on the air every Sunday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a special guest in the audience with us. Joining us is Shanae from 3NQ. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And today, Mr. Z, who else do we have on the air with us
We're going to
today?
have Mr. Orlando Caesar in the latter part of the show that we're going to speak about appreciation and different aspects of that. And Orlando is an author. He's a published author, and I'm going to let him give his bio. I'm looking at for some more of the information for him right now, and we're going to be speaking to him later on at the latter part of the hour today. And your topic, our topic that you brought to us is very, very interesting, and I'd like to weigh in on it perhaps later on, but I'm just going to sit back and shut my mouth. People, I got 3 women in here, guys. Y'all don't even want to know the situation here, dude. It's one of them things. Otherwise, if it was not in the studio, I'd probably be happy, but I'm in the studio, so I can't be happy having 3 women around me. You know what I'm saying, people?
So this weekend, how was your weekend?
You know, it was, let me see, indifferent.
Wow.
It was a little bit indifferent. It's a slow season for me a little bit, and going through some little different things, reorganizing my business, raising children. You know how the holidays are coming up, preparing for that. And I'm prepping my house to paint it because I have to change the color in the home. It's dismal. You know, after a while when you cook and you look at your house and you're just like,
Yes.
it's time to do a little, I've been watching a lot of home network stuff, kind of, PBS, redo your home.
DIY?
Yeah, I haven't watched that one, but I've seen it before. But I basically right now I'm looking for a new color to motivate me during the wintertime. You know what I mean? Because
blues. I like the Dallas Cowboy blue.
Blue? Yeah, painting my house no freaking blue. I had to change my whole color scheme up. I got furniture I can't even she said painted blue, guys. So they had to reupholster my furniture and change the curtains and.
Well, you could do the celery green. I've seen celery green as a new color. I look on Instagram and you can see like people doing their decorum.
I used to look at Architect Digest a little bit, kind of see there, or Country Living. They see some of the things. I want to change my eye.
Is too much.
It is?
Yes, they do a lot of wallpaper and.
No, you didn't. You say it's too much. All right.
So, ladies, please join in with us. We're today, yes. Oh, so my weekend. I didn't even get to talk about my weekend.
I didn't ask you about your weekend.
I'm going to tell, so it's all right. This weekend I got to work with the Motley Crue band, so it was pretty fun. I met some fanatic fans of Motley Crue that have tattoos galore. I told them that I was going to mention them on the air today. I have just had a blast with the fans. One of the guys, he was in his mid-40s, and he just couldn't sit still. And
lost his mind, didn't he?
He says, I've been waiting since I was 14 to see these guys, and I'm going to faint.
You're about my age, so Motley Crue was huge when we were kids, when we were teenagers.
Yes.
Did you ever go to a Motley Crue concert?
No.
Yes.
No?
Did you?
Yes.
I love
didn't.
their music, though. They're great performers. But I have just, watching them it was like watching the fans of Michael Jackson, where people were just passing out. And they're just like, the men were like, wow, oh my gosh, I just saw Motley Crue, This one lady, she was trying to be so calm that I was like, okay, you have to say hi to Nicky Six, and then to Vince. She's like, I got it. And I was like, all right, okay. So then I had to tell everybody that this is the way that you go in and say hello. And one guy, so funny, the manager of the crew had said, "So, are you and your wife take?" No. She's taking a picture by herself, and I'm taking a picture by myself. And it's like, she just got kicked in the curb.
Little deep, dude. Little deep.
A lot of people get starstruck. I on occasion, it depends on the star.
Really?
Right? So like Motley Crue, I actually met them. I got a backstage pass because Vince Neil's parents came to the concert and they were put right by the speaker and it was too loud. And we had awesome seats. So the security came over and traded us seats for backstage passes. So I got to meet them.
Nice.
And that was very fun for someone that age into metal, that glam rock at the time, right? And so that was great. I wasn't starstruck. It was very cool. But I met a BBW artist over only on the phone. And I was just giggling because I've been a fan of his most of my adult life. And
really?
So I was completely starstruck. I could barely talk. But I was very glad I had my co-hosts, Sierra and Sweet Cheeks, to fill in and ask the questions for me because I couldn't ask any questions because I was... and now I play Words with Friends with him on Facebook,
Do
right?
you?
So every time he plays and I see his name come up, I go, yay! I do that giggle.
And it's funny because they had asked me, they were like, well, Denise, if you're not over the Motley Crue, who makes you like that? And I'm all, I did entertainment awards for 4 years, so they're just people. I haven't found anyone that would just make me...
It gets...
There are some people that don't. Like Sweet Cheeks is the same way. She, one of my co-hosts, she doesn't get starstruck by anybody.
Really?
So, but I think if she met Simon Cowell, she would, because she loves those shows.
Okay. Oh my
Right?
gosh, yes.
So I think it all depends on the genre. Like this one is an artist because I do art myself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so, and I'm talking about Les Toyle. You know who Les Toyle is?
No, not
So
familiar.
he does pinup art, but only of BBW women.
Oh, you
Okay.
showed me that.
Right.
Oh,
Beautiful
now I'm
work.
interested.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge fan of his. And
I love it.
I was completely Star Trek.
Yeah, I think if there was someone that, that did something that was more of my business, I think if I had met Steve Jobs or
Right.
if I had met Jim Rohn or someone like that, I probably would pass out and not have anything to say because that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's my line of passion.
Right.
So
Right.
yes. So to our audience, we are talking about full-figured women today dealing with self-esteem and discrimination.
Now, I use the term BBW. A lot of people don't even know what that means.
Share with us.
In the community, there is a community of the BBW, and that means big, beautiful women.
I love it.
And then there's BHM, which is big, handsome men.
Oh, I like that.
So BBW, BHM. And they call it a community because... I know your topic is about discrimination, but it's important to talk about because there are a lot of women who won't go to certain places because they're not made to feel welcome.
We had talked about the nightclubs that when
Right.
you guys were hosting events.
That's usually the biggest one. Girls, all girls of all sizes, of all colors, of all races want to dance.
Yes.
That's what girls like to do.
Yes.
And if we can't go to a regular nightclub, I don't want to mention any names of
Right.
the ones, down on the strip, then where is a fat girl supposed to go? Where is a BBW going to go?
So when you're on the strip, only because in California, I used to go with my girlfriends to all the big girl clubs, and they were downtown in Torrance and some other areas. I found that to be the best place. But for me, I didn't fit in, and I was just... It sucked because I'd sit there and nobody would ask me to dance because, the girls are big and beautiful. And I love big girls because big girls have the curves. They got the boobs. They got the butt. And I'm just disproportionate. I personally think so.
You are on the smaller end of most BBW community
Yes.
people.
You wouldn't even be considered a BBW.
But if you had to go shopping with me, I would qualify because of the clothes size that I wear, just so that if they fit
Right.
me.
Yes.
No, you're
That's
absolutely
true.
right.
That's true.
And a lot of the clubs today, a lot of the clubs that we're involved with, it's not about just BBW
Correct.
can go. It's about size acceptance.
There you go.
Any size is welcome. And I will tell you, there are women that are much, much thinner than you that come to our clubs.
Really?
And they're there to dance.
Yep.
They know they're not going to get hit on. So
Yes.
because that's what comes with the guys who like that. So they can just completely be free, get their drink on, and party with their girls.
So then I need to start going again because I would go and they'd be like, "Oh, don't wait up. I'm going home." And I'm like, we came together. I'm glad I drove, because I would be stuck.
And you see, there's no difference between one of those fancy schmancy nightclubs on the strip and a BBW club. There's always still a hookup.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting there, and it's interesting because they meet good guys. Not all of them are good, but they get to connect.
Players.
Yeah, players. They get to connect with someone, and it just sucks when you're sitting there and you're like, nobody asked for my number. Nobody asked for a dance. Nobody.
If you are on the thinner side, you must know that when you go into an event that is geared towards drawing the BBW out so they can be comfortable, more than likely the men are going to follow them, so you will not be hit on. So you need to go either in support of the community itself or just because you want to go out and have a good time without the hassle of...
Yes, I'm now just want to drink and dance, and I don't care anymore. But I now can see the other side of the spectrum. If the BBW women go to a regular club and they're just like, this is a nice club.
If they're even allowed in.
Yep.
Why is that like that in
It's called
Vegas?
discrimination.
And the size discrimination, and Shanae can attest, it's almost instantly. You can see someone across the room and discriminate them against them. Because you can see if it's race, you see that they're a different color than you, you can all immediately be a racist, right?
Right.
Internally, maybe externally if you're, brave like that, or if they're big, or if you're big and they're thin. Because there's reverse discrimination as well. So.
Yes.
See, and it blows me away because I have a cousin that when I first moved out here, she had applied for a job and she did the phone interview and they loved her. And when she showed up for the actual interview, they were like, sorry, the position's no longer available.
Yes.
Don't you have a story about work and size discrimination?
Yeah. I have several stories, but one of the ones that is real touching to me is at a former job that I had. I had been there for over 10 years. I was already in a management position and wanted to excel to a higher management position, but I never got the opportunity to. It was always a reason that, we're not looking for anyone right now, or we don't need it right now, or you need to do this and you need to do that. But yet people can come in after me and only be there for less time than I was and get the same position that I was applying for. I never got the opportunity to promote into that position, and I always felt that it was because of my size.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're not going to come out and tell you
Right.
that it's because of your size. Just like they won't come out and tell you it's because of your race or anything like that. But you will get passed over, and it's like the last bastion of acceptable discrimination.
Yep.
Size discrimination.
Wow. So how do you overcome this? How do you even deal with it? Because I know sorry, my little stories too, but when I first moved here, I went to one of the big casinos here and I applied for the VIP job where you handled a lot of the high rollers. I'm by any means not a tiny girl. And I'm overqualified. But the lady says, no, you don't qualify for the position. And I was wondering why. And I'm like, well, is there something on my resume that I'm missing? Because believe me, I could do this job 10 times over. And I finally met someone in the grocery store, and I was talking about, I applied for this job and I didn't get it. And she said I wasn't qualified, but I didn't get a reason why. And I was lost. And the person said, well, first of all, you have to be a size 2. You've got to have these big boobs, which you don't, and you've got to have blonde hair. Most of the girls are brunettes or they're blondes. And I'm like, are you serious? So out here, it doesn't matter if you're talented or educated or if you're a hard worker.
You have to look the look.
Exactly.
There's that whole news story that just came out a month or so ago, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, what happened?
Where the CEO said, we will not make clothes for large people. They go up to 2XL for men's.
That's it.
Because a lot of their men are sports guys.
Right.
But they won't go, I think the highest they go for women is XL. they will not hire anyone that does not fit the
clothing.
image of the all-American.
You got it.
Serious. I hope they get sued.
They can't. It's their prerogative as a company to do what they want. So basically,
They did get a lot of public backlash.
They
though.
got a lot of public backlash, but you see, in play devil's advocate, people have the right to do what they want to do. But the point being is, are you strong enough to take that rejection? Like, you are strong enough to take that rejection. A lot of people are not strong enough to take that rejection.
Exactly.
So basically, I feel the rejection is twofold, though. It's emotional and mental.
It's like having a dress code for school, so I can understand some of the, you don't look the part, or you don't fit, like a cocktail waitress, you have to fit into the outfit.
Right.
Although that has changed.
Oh, has it?
Women have fought back.
Okay.
The women who were looking for those jobs, or the women who were getting older, you'll notice a lot of older cocktail waitresses now
They wear the
that
stockings.
we're getting pushed out of their jobs because they didn't,
Really?
they no longer fit the image of the Vegas cocktail waitress.
Really?
But now you see a whole difference, and it's all about people speaking out and people voicing that me, as a big girl, can do anything that you can do.
Yep.
And
I might not be able to climb those steps as fast and be breathing hard at the end of it, but I can do everything you can do.
Right. Exactly.
So, one of the other things that I've noticed we had talked about is that the discrimination is not only inflicted from the society or from work, but it's also from family, friends, and other women.
That's usually where it starts.
Exactly.
My mom, I love my mom. My mom is a small Asian woman. And in one breath, she would say, "Alexia, you need to go on diet. Here, finish this."
You gotta love her.
You do. But it's because women have been bombarded with these images of what they're supposed to look like. They've been told that they're supposed to act a certain way and look a certain way, and their waist should be this small. Barbie is a
Yes.
big one. They grow up with these images, of what they're supposed to be like, and when they're not like that, people give them crap for it.
Yes.
From everywhere: school, parents, siblings, cousins.
Oh, family's brutal.
Family is brutal
Family's-
because they feel they can be.
Family sometimes is the worst. And it's hard because for me, like you said, I love my mom dearly. She was raised me good, but a lot of times my mom didn't know how it felt to be a big girl because my mom's not a big girl.
Right.
You know, so she can only instill strength in me as far as, staying positive and, staying focused and not letting anyone beat you down or, staying strong. But sometimes she was the one that beat me down, and it's hard to tell her those things because she was my mom, so, and I couldn't tell her things like, that hurt my feelings or, I didn't like that because, I felt that it was disrespecting her, or
She's your elder.
because she was my mother, so it's, for me, family was harder on me growing up.
See, I think, and for me, there was a point when my second marriage, I've always been between a 10 and a 12 until I got older. And when I got older with my second child, I went to a size 22. And my family could not believe it. And I remember going to see my grandmother after my second baby, and she said, I swear she said these words, and I love her because she's old school. And she said, "Baby, you look like a football player." No. And I had not been out there since then for 6 years. I was out there recently because we had family issues, but I refused to go back out. I was like, I'm not like my dad's side of the family, so I'll just not go. If I can't go and just be like, "Baby, I haven't seen you for a while, are you hungry?" No, why are you telling me I look like a football player?
Because family feel that they are the ones that can say it and it's okay. That you're not supposed to be offended or harmed with it, but
Yeah, and they should be the ones that are able to tell you, because I would rather hear it from my mom, I think, than from, the neighbor that lives 3 houses down.
yep.
That's true.
You
I
know?
might have to run him over.
But
My mom
but
would
the
too.
here's what's wrong with the family. They keep saying it and keep
Yes.
saying it, and they'll say it 20 times in one night.
Yes.
And think it's hilarious.
Yes.
And
Yes.
laugh while they're saying it,
Yes.
which makes you feel even worse.
Yes.
So for our listeners that are tuning in, this is KLAV 1230 AM. If you have questions, please call in to 702-731-1230. And if you're out of the area, give us a call at 866-820-5528. You are listening to the topic of full-figured women dealing with self-esteem and discrimination.
So you just said self-esteem. So I think that's where you start to fix it. Is I'm very comfortable with my size
You're beautiful
until I see myself completely naked in a mirror.
I think that's all of us, though.
I have a beautiful. My friends love it. I have a Buddha belly, the one that doesn't bend in the middle, so I can't reach my toes to paint them.
Miss Shanae is like, I'm done.
And but it's all about how you feel about yourself. I don't actually think about my weight until I'm climbing the stairs, right? And when I go shopping, I know where to go. And
Exactly.
in my opinion, if you look good, if you look at yourself in the mirror and the clothes that you're wearing, and you look good, you feel good.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why I think stories like the Abercrombie and Fitch story is important. And I only go to stores that carry sizes that go up to my size. And I always want to look great.
And so also with the self-esteem, because you remember we were just talking about this at work, that a lot of women weren't able to feel girly back in the day. There wasn't anything.
Yeah, it was a potato sack with a belt, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they put it under the boobs.
Right. So it cuts off all the sections.
Instead of what we're supposed to, where our waist is supposed to be.
Right.
Well, since they don't have a waist, let's push it up under the boobs.
Exactly. And if you didn't have no boobs, you were just out of luck.
Right.
Yes, I have to tell you a story. I went to the store when Learners and Lane Bryant's first came out, and I wore a 14 top, and I went to go get a shirt, and I'm like, oh, I love this shirt. And I get home to my mom, and she says, baby, the darts are going around the back of the shirt. You need the darts to be in the front of the shirt. I said the sales lady didn't tell me that. I didn't know what the darts were for.
But you know what? In today's shopping experience for the big girl, there are a lot of wonderful places.
Yes.
And it runs the gamut. You can go to Walmart and get a 5X,
Yep.
6X,
Yeah.
7X,
Yep.
usually just T-shirts and stuff like that, all the way up to high dollar fashion.
Correct.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm drooling over a $1,200 dress right now that I want to buy.
Me too. Me too.
By who? I know you showed me a website, and I don't remember, but
I
if you
will.
share with the listeners.
I honestly can't remember that website itself, but of course there's your Lane Bryant. I'm a huge fan of Catherine's and Avenue, which is for business and work
Yes.
clothes.
Correct. Torrid.
Torrid. Torrid is for the younger
Yes.
generation girls, like Shanae's age.
I think you can wear Torrid.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
I go
okay.
shop there all the time. Accessories and cute things like that
Right.
when I want to be rock and roll.
Yeah.
But, that's what it's kind of like. And then you have Sansi, and then you have a light, which is another one. There's just a ton of. All you have to do is just type in plus size clothes in your Google search bar, and you will be inundated with beautiful clothes. Amazon. I love Amazon. It collects everything.
Really?
And
I'm gonna have to check out the Amazon also. Shanae, you have a poem that you'd like to read for us.
Oh, sure. It's called Fat Girls. And the world believes that fat girls are pretty hot and tempting people. But if that's the case, then why do we always have to prove ourselves? Why are there still barriers to overcome? Why is there still discrimination against us? Why do my feet, back, legs hurt every day, all day? Why can't I buy name brand clothes in my size? Why am I subject to paying for 2 seats on an airplane? Why do I have to endure stares and harsh comments, let alone by a stranger, but worse by my own family? Why are we most likely to be lonely and never experience true love? Why do we have to maintain a higher image than others to even be noticed? Why can't we show any form of weakness? Why do we have the highest percentage in bullying and suicide among teens and adults? Why does my heart get hurt every day? Why every night when I lay down to sleep, I think of these same whys, and I ask myself if family, friends, lovers, society, and even the entire world really knew my thoughts and cries, would they still feel that my pain is pretty, my heartache is hot, and my turmoil is tempting? You see, to me, that's what a fat girl goes through every day, And when she conquers that every day, that's what makes her pretty hot and tempting.
That's right.
I like that.
That's right. But that's so very true.
Thank you.
That's so very true for anybody that's going through that has some kind of hurdle in quote unquote society.
God.
So do you have suggestions or recommendations for those that are listening? Because obviously our listeners are not alone, but in this environment, especially in Vegas, a lot of kids I've noticed and young adults, they just feel so isolated.
Well,
Vegas is very hard because Vegas, you have to maintain that image, and there's no image of a big girl for Vegas for other big girls to look up to or to go through. So for full-figure women, big BBW women in Vegas, a lot of it is going to have to deal with self-esteem. You're going to have to try to find it within yourself if you don't have support from family and friends to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, no one else is going to love you. And you have to learn how to acknowledge and be able to handle the things that come with being a big woman. Yes, it hurts, but like I said, when you conquer it, you know, it makes it better for you. It makes you to be able to keep walking with your head held high. I go back to say this because, again, I didn't grow up with anybody, and all my family on my mom's side is small. Mm-hmm. All my family on my father's side is overweight. My majority of my life was with my mom's side and my mom's family, so I didn't have anyone to look up to have an image. You know, in the 70s when I was born, you know, in the 80s, it wasn't nothing. I didn't start getting the real image of how I'm supposed to react to things and live until late 90s, early 2000s. So the only thing I could really say is for big women to find people that are the same as you and talk to people, and because it's amazing what you can tell other people than what you can tell your own family and friends. So when you can speak with people, find a support group if you can, you know, get on the radio, you know, get on YouTube, whatever you can to express yourself as a person, then it'll make it a lot easier. But as long as people keep it in, this is not just for big women, this is for women, period. As long as you keep it in, it's not going to do nothing but eat you up. You have to learn how to express it. And unfortunately, like I said, big women, we don't have anything to look on TV, an image or someone we can uphold to, because they always say big is not healthy. Well, I'm healthy. I'm a big girl, but there's nothing wrong with me. I don't have diabetes. I don't have heart disease. I don't have anything. I have asthma, you know, because
you're born that way.
Yeah, I was born that way. I was born that way. And I'm anemic, low iron. But other than that.
You're born that way too.
You know, other than that,
be born. Anybody
I don't have
can be
any
born
health
that way.
issues. So, you know, again, you just have to find it within yourself and you know, to love yourself, and it'll make it a little bit easier. I can't say that it's going to go away, but I can say it can make it a little bit easier for you.
Here in Las Vegas, the BBW community is booming, and I'd like to think that our show had a lot to do with that. We try very hard to draw all the small groups of BBW people, support groups and things like that together. So at our website, sincitybounty.com, it's a hub. If you go to the links page, you'll see all the clubs are listed there.
Nice.
The big bash, there's a huge bash that happens here. It's like a convention just for fat people.
Really?
And it's a whole week long.
I've seen it.
Oh.
Right?
Wasn't it just recently?
Yes. June, July is usually when it happens.
Yeah, I've seen
It
that.
comes here every year. And there's 3 nightclubs here in town, 3 that are geared right specifically towards BBWs. And there's a lot of other groups that do picnics and campouts and things like that.
Can you say the name of the club?
Yeah, one of my favorites is the LVPPW.
Okay.
That's Las Vegas Pleasingly Plump Women, I think is what it's called. I'm not big keen on the name, but that's what they chose. And they're a very wonderful group of people. Learn the lingo. BBW is Big Beautiful Women. BHM is Big Handsome Men. When you see a fat person and you think you can relate or something, or if they're dressed great, go ask them about it.
Correct.
So
You know, if you are a big girl and you see a young, especially the young, young chubby girls and boys, don't be afraid to go talk to them and see where they're at and who they know. There are Facebook groups. All of the LVPPWs are on Facebook. We are on Facebook, and I am friends. Alexia's friends with every nightclub owner in the country, because we put
Nice.
out that's one of the things that we do on our show is we make sure that you know where you can go in your area to a nightclub for big
I
women.
like that.
So that's
Anywhere.
the nationwide BBW club calendar.
Okay.
And there's one that just opened up in Perth, Australia.
Really?
There's one up in Ontario, Canada. There's like 2 or 3 nightclubs over in England.
Really?
I personally am a friend with Gunnar. That's our friend. He owns a nightclub in Sweden just for big women.
International.
Yeah, I would have never thought. 'Cause,
So
you know,
there are places to go. If you go to Lane Bryant, if you go to Catherine's, if you go to Avenue or Torrid, ask them.
Yeah.
They might know. I know the nightclub owners take cards in all the time about the nightclubs.
Okay.
I know that LVPPW, when they're having a camp out or something like that, they take flyers in. So there's
Really?
if you know that if you feel you're being discriminated against and you need a support network, search one out.
Yes.
And
Okay.
if you are a big girl,
Yes.
don't be afraid to talk to somebody else who's a big person and see if they have that,
Yes.
what you have.
Yes.
There is, I cannot say enough about what it's like to have friends
Yes.
that understand and can help you and dress you and do your makeup and make you feel great about yourself.
Right.
And that's where it starts. When you feel great about yourself, you can accomplish anything, and then you can start infecting the rest of the world with the idea that just because you're fat, you can't do it.
That's right. Good answer.
I love it. I
love
it.
that.
I do. Because I was just telling her this morning, she was telling me that she's girly. I go, you are very girly. I'm so tomboyish. I go and everyone tells me, how come you're not girly? And I'm all, I don't know. You had to be taught it. That wasn't my thing. I told her, because my weight fluctuates so much, I can get away with jeans and t-shirts. You can't tell me anything if I'm in jeans and t-shirts. I look normal. To me, that's normal.
One warning, though, in any support group, social situation that you go into that's geared towards certain things, you're going to get those players. I do have to warn about those players.
Yes.
There is a group of men that go to those clubs or meetings, and they think that you're an easy mark because you're fat.
That's it.
So that's why you have to develop that internal
You
self-esteem
have to.
and self-worth.
You have
so
to.
you don't fall for that crap.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So listeners,
There
please
is
beware.
an inordinate amount of that
Okay.
that I've seen in the community. So you do have to be very careful.
And
with it.
unfortunately, even though you have to be careful of that, because women, big women, they fall for it
They do.
because they don't have self-esteem, or they feel like they're not going to get anyone else, so they at least accept whatever that they can handle. And you shouldn't have to settle for less, regardless what size you are.
And that's right. You don't.
And see, before we close out on this, because I know we haven't, Mr. Z has a guest coming on. We have a guest. I just wanted to say, when these men are praying, it just pisses me off because it's like,
Okay, I'm here.
dude.
Oh, I thought
No,
you
I
left.
thought you
Sorry.
left. I'm sorry. No.
Right, me too.
But it just makes me mad because these men think, oh, you can't have anybody but me. And I look at the beautiful big women, they get all the hot men.
Personally, I'm not as active in the dating world as I used to be. But one of my co-hosts, Sweet Cheeks, who I love dearly,
She gets all the hot.
she is she has a full
I got
calendar.
my own reason behind it, and I'll tell you after on the air.
Let me tell you, her calendar is full, and she comes over to my house for dinner, and her cell phone, the text little are going off all night long. She stayed over at my house on the couch one night, and I could hear from the bedroom. Woman, who are you talking to? Oh, it's the plumber.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. Every time I see women, I'm like, well, I can't. What about me? Well, ladies, thank you for coming on the air today. I know we have another guest coming on, but it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Alexia and Shanae, thank you both for coming. And I hope that our listeners got some encouragement, because I did.
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge that you guys shared with
Good.
us today.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
don't be
it.
afraid to reach out.
Right.
You can reach me at cincinnatibounty.com.
I don't have a website right now.
Okay.
So, you know.
You can
if
reach
if
Shanae at SinCityBounty.com.
there you go.
I'll contact her
Thank
for
you. I appreciate that.
And your show, tell us about the show when it's on.
The Curvaceous Bounty of Sin City. It's all about relationships and dating and lots of sex. It's on the internet, so we can be nasty.
Yes.
Love it.
And it's about being a big girl in the dating world. And that's on
Yes.
Sunday nights on VegasAllNetRadio.com, or you could just go to SinCityBounty.com from 7 to 10. It's 3 hours of nothing but raunchy fun.
Well, thank you again, ladies. Thank you, and you
you.
ladies have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
This
Mr.
is
Appreciate
G.
it.
Miss, please.
Thank you. You guys are welcome to stay if you like. Thanks.
Well, Orlando, did you get an earful on that one, buddy?
Oh, yes.
You notice I was quiet quite a bit on that aspect of it, man. I ain't got nothing to say about that one. Large been running my family, though, so I'm used to it. I understand exactly what these ladies are saying. But in the community, it's kind of weird that people do discriminate in that aspect. But I'm from the South, where large women are just common.
Yeah.
They're
Common.
beautiful.
May I say real quick that the average size in the United States, the average size of a woman in the United States is size 14.
Yes.
That's the
Marilyn
average.
Monroe size
That's the average
Marilyn
size.
Monroe was thick.
and
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, yes, she was. So, Mr. Caesar Orlando, tell us who you are, my man, and what you're about. I appreciate that very much, sir.
Well, I would rather continue the conversation you have had.
Well, you know what? That topic is something that the community needs to hear, especially around the holiday season, where people get depressed about their sizes and things of that nature. And I'm glad Ms. Please was able to bring these guests on the show, because it's not brought up enough that people need to understand that people's feelings can be hurt and not being appreciated for who they are as a person. And a lot of people forget that. And Ms. Please had the opportunity to bring that thought to us, and it's very nice that she was able to do that. But again, sir, please tell us who you are.
Okay, I'm Orlando Caesar. I am the founder of Watchwell Communications, Inc., and we really talk to individuals and businesses about how to develop impact players. And when I say an impact player, I'm talking about a person who makes a difference, someone who is interjected into the equation, and by virtue of the fact that they're there, doing their best, they contribute more to relationships, they contribute more to companies, just by being there. So a lot of what I do is writing and public speaking, or professional speaking. One of the things that I do a lot of, the last 5 years after I retired from corporate America, I spend my time talking to students, high school, elementary, and college students, about what they need to do to be the very best that they can be. And most of my time has been spent really pro bono, because I felt that I've retired and I have income coming in from my pension, which allows me to go into schools and say, look, I want you to know that I'm here to let you know that somebody loves you, who expects nothing from you but your best.
I like that
And-
thought. Yes. Yes.
It has a transforming effect on people. So what I do now, and for the last years, is speaking and writing. And my job is to help motivate people, to educate people, entertain people, and to have people realize that I've educated you, I've entertained you. Now, hopefully, you can get something out of my presence that will convince you to some kind of action that's positive and transforming for yourself and for the community.
How did you get
So-
involved in that, sir?
How did I get involved in? Well, if I look at my background, I worked for a pharmaceutical company for 32 years. And during that time, I was in sales, marketing, training. And my last job, I was the senior director of diversity and work-life effectiveness. So at one point, I had 700 people working for me in the sales arena. So I've always had a lot of people around me. And so my goal was to get them to do higher levels of performance. So when I retired, I started looking around to see where could I go to interject myself to have the most impact. Now, there's an organization in Chicago called the Black Star Project, directed by Philip Jackson. And so I looked at his organization, and one of the things that he did he had a school program, which is really like it's a mentoring program. So a student motivator is what they call it. And the student motivator would go into schools every month, and I'd get a list of about 30 schools each month. I would pick the dates that I wanted, that they have relationships with these schools, and then I make an appointment. They have an appointment already set, really. So I'd go into the school on that day, and for a 2-hour period of time, they would move me to different classrooms where I could sit down and talk to the students about what they needed to do to be more effective, to act out their role in the world in a positive way. So that's how I got to the Black Star Project. So through that connection, I was able to get involved in some programs that were about violence prevention, educating students. I've done television programs for them as well, talking about the various initiatives that they've developed to help transform and help the community become better, and help each individual become better. So that's how I got involved with that.
Okay. Miss Please has a...
Yes. Orlando, hi. How are you?
Somewhere between great and fantastic.
I love that. So you said that you have a communication incorporated company, and you talk about or focus on impacting players. I understand that you've mentioned that you are the player that's being placed into the community to help out and mentor. How do you develop others to be able to interject into an equation? Do you do it just with kids? Do you do it with adults? And what strategic method or approach do you use to help others?
Okay, good, very good question. Now, I mentioned working through the Black Star Project.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have mentors that they send to the schools, and they will do one-on-one mentoring. They would do group mentoring, and they have training for those individuals. I am called on occasions to go into that setting and train these individuals about how to mentor. Okay?
Okay.
I have a blog called The Ozone, which focuses on leadership, and within that leadership, under that leadership umbrella, I have articles that I've written on the subject of leadership, articles on mentoring. Mm-hmm. I'm in the process now of writing 3 books. 3 books.
What are they called?
One is Unlock Your Leadership Greatness. The other was Unlock Your Diversity Greatness. And in that book, I'm talking about determining your differences, your unique qualities, and how to bring out your uniqueness. And at the same time, how to identify uniqueness in other people and bring it out of them. And the third book is Unlock Your Leadership Greatness for students. And in that book, I've taken a lot of the exercises and stories that I've come up with over the last 5 years that I've used to talk to students to get them to focus on the things that are important. Because I talk to them about developing a team. I'm using the language of masterminding now, how to come together to say, look, how can I help you? If you're not good in math, and I am good in math, how do I help you become better in math? And if you're good in something and I'm not, how do you help me become better at it?
I like that.
So, because I'm seeing that, if you show somebody what's in it for them, chances are they probably would go along with it a little bit more.
Gotcha.
Now,
hold on for a second, Orlando. Just a second. You're listening to Real Talk with Clever Minds. This is KLAV 1230 AM. I am Mr. Z, and the lovely lady to my right here is
Miss Please.
And if you'd like to call in today for our previous guest that we just had on, or the guest gentleman we have on right now, please give us a call at 702-731-1230. Or if you're outside the calling area, Miss Please, 866-820-5528. This woman's going to be shy on me. She was all chatty earlier. That's why I was quiet. I was like, I ain't saying a word to get out of this one. But Orlando, I brought you on also into 2 aspects as well, too. You had a book that I had you on the show before. It's The Island of Knowledge. And the other thing is what I'm about appreciation is what I want to discuss as well, too, about being appreciative of things. About when you talking about the mastermind aspect of what you do, let's tie this into being appreciative of the knowledge that people are trying to offer each other. Does that make sense, sir?
So, yes. One of the things that I talk to people about often is that there may be skills that you have where you may be ahead of your time, and your friends may not understand it. So rather than discard those skills, bring the skills to the front and exercise them, and really be appreciative of the fact that we're all unique and different, and the fact that your uniqueness is not a weakness.
I think that that's an awesome, when I started the PhD program, we focused a lot on the tacit learning, which is what you're speaking of, is when you have a strength, don't just harbor it and keep it to yourself. Share it with others.
Right, yeah.
Because even though someone might not say anything, we all probably are wondering the same question. How do I get to this point? Or how did you get to this point? And I want to be, like you said earlier, Mr. Orlando, I want to be better. I just don't want to be good. I don't want to be better. I want to be great. You know, it just depends on what level you are with math, for example, which is the example he gave us. And the only way to... Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I know she's very good. That's why she's right with me. She chose me. I didn't choose her. If y'all want to know the truth about it, everybody, it is what it is, people. I'm letting you know, okay?
So bad.
She did. She chose me. I didn't get to choose her. She's like, hey, come here. I got something for you. Can you hang? But, okay. Orlando, let's bottom line this. Here's the thing, okay? With all the knowledge that you have in today's society, what do we lack with the approach that you're trying to offer us as a whole? I mean, because you can say all this stuff all the time, but a lot of people don't get it. What do we lack in order to adhere to what you're trying to offer us in society to our individuals? What do we lack to get it? Let's turn this negative into a positive, please.
Okay, part of what I think we lack is the confidence and the courage to step out and do things on our own, regardless of what those around us may be thinking. And so one of the things I try to get people to think is that I'm not going to tell you what to think or how to think. I just make sure that you are thinking. Okay. So part of what I do, there's a card that I give out to all the students that I do. On one side of the card, it has impact players, and it defines what an impact player is, and then it gives you 10 attributes that I've noticed in impact players in sports, academia, or in business. Things like, are you a natural fit for the role? Are you powered by a dream? Are you a student of the game? Are you fundamentally sound? Do you set high standards? Do you have creative expression? Do you lead by example? Do you make others better? And do you serve others? So I talk to them about how to be an impact player and what those impact players will do. Now, getting to the point about thinking again, I will give a lot of stories. So I'll talk to a classroom. I got young men in class and women. I said, let me give you a situation. Okay, you're playing basketball against somebody. Okay, they're guarding you pretty tight. You go into the hole. You do your crossover dribble, but just before you make that basket, you realize that you just made that other person look bad. I mean,
that's the
slow
game.
down.
That's the skills, though, baby.
I'm sorry. I'm a basketball player. That's the game.
That's the skill.
I'll pick you up after I score.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Will you stop that you made the other person look bad to give them a chance to guard you? I said, I would never do that. I said, okay, you're in a race, okay? You start off on a 50-yard dash. Okay, you get out of the blocks quickly, and you're moving, you're smoking, but you realize that the other person is eating your dust. How many times will you slow up?
I ran track, too. I'm not going to do it.
You talking to the wrong person. You talking to the wrong person, man. Trying to tell her to...
I don't know if you heard me say earlier, I'm a tomboy, so no.
Okay. So, and if you're playing a musical instrument, if you're singing, if you have skill, okay, you would never think of not using that skill.
Of course,
because about everybody else.
It's a gift that God gave you, or the universe gave you, and you should utilize it to your fullest potential.
Absolutely, I said, but yet every day in the classroom, teacher asks a question. You're sitting there, you know the answer to the question, but you won't speak up because you don't want to make the others around you look bad.
Oh, that's
you don't
not
want
me. That's not me. I would speak up all
Yes,
the time.
see, yes.
I'm one of them. I was like, yeah, I got the answer. Even if I was wrong, I'll still say something. I'm the first person to hit the buzzer. He's like, no, that ain't it. Well, dang, I gave it a try.
But Orlando, you know what? Can I comment? I think that I understand what you're saying, because in school I was afraid to speak, because a lot of kids were like, you're reading the Wall Street Journal and you're trying to understand all this stuff, and we're just trying to make it through junior high school. Well, I didn't have a lot of friends, so the newspaper and business books were my friends. And
Yeah.
I was afraid to speak because they had already teased me on the bus, made fun of me when we hung out in circles. But now that I'm older, I have stepped out on the other side of fear and have gained confidence. Like, you know what? I'd rather know than not know. And if I know something, I want to pull you, like your race or the basketball game, I'm going to shake your hand afterwards. And by all means, if you come to me and say, you know what, you got a nice jumper, I would like to know how you got that crossover and you came and did a little jump shot and it swished in front of me. You made me look bad, but can you show me how to do that? I, by all means, will be glad to show. I'm not gonna let you beat me in the game, but I will show. I will show you
started
afterwards.
something over here, man. I ain't gonna let you beat me in the game, man, but it is after the situation. Can you tell me how you did that so I can put it in my repertoire?
Yeah, but I like where you're going with that.
Caesar, tell us who you are, sir, so to put the people out here who just tuned in, might not know who you are and how to get in touch with you, please, because we don't have that much longer, but I want to make sure people understand who you are and the knowledge that you're trying to give us today, sir.
I'm Orlando Caesar. My website is watchwellinc.com. That's WATCHWELLANC.com. And I am a professional speaker. I'm an author, entrepreneur, and I spent 30 years in corporate America training and developing people on how to achieve their highest performance.
Now, the new book, I'm sorry, Miss Please, the new books that you have coming out, can you make sure me and Miss Please get copies of those books, please? Because we are on the forefront of knowledge.
And can we get a copy of your impact card?
Oh, absolutely. I can definitely do that. 3 books that I have a lot of the impact cards, and the other side of the impact cards is 10 guideposts to greatness.
I love it.
So it's like 10 identifying words like identity, values, dreams, hunger. And then under each one of those is a key question. Under identity, it's who are you? Under values, it's what's important to you. Mm-hmm. Under dream, what is your dream? Hunger, how badly do you want it?
Yes.
And
okay.
why do you want it? Is that on there?
Oh, no, it's not on there. But the part of the book that I have is why do you want it? Because when I talk about goals, people, I say it's important to know that what your dreams are. But one of the things you want to know about your dream is why do you want to do that? Mm-hmm. Why do you want? Because when I was growing up, I'm the oldest of 11 kids. Okay, my mother was on what I call the 11 by 30 plan. So 11 kids by the time she was 30. My father was also on the same plan. So there were a lot of things that I wanted to do because she wanted me to do things.
Gotcha.
There are times when you want to do something. If I asked you, I have people who work for me.
You're breaking up, Caesar, a little bit there. You're breaking in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Real fast, can I interrupt real fast because we only have 2 minutes left. Can you also share how and where we can find you on the Ozone blog?
Okay. watchwellinc.com. If you go to watchwellinc.com, there are a number of tabs on there. And one tab is the books I've written, the comic strips I've come up with about motivation, the posters I've come up with about motivation, and then it has a blog tab, which will take you right to the Ozone. And there are about 102 articles in there, and they're all about 1,000 words each around the topic of motivation and what needs and do to get better at it.
We appreciate you being on the air at such a short notice today. And one more time before we let you go, because we're going to have to get out of here because we want to just run. Tell us who you are, and Miss Please always give us a word. What do you got for us? Dibba. I just tease.
I was
I'll
gonna
put you on the
say-
spot.
Yes, thank you, Orlando.
No, thank you very much, Orlando.
Shanae.
Because sometimes we talk so much we forget how much time we have. And folks, appreciate this has been Real Talk, and I do mean Real Talk with Clever Minds. I am Mr. Z.
And I am Miss Please.
We'll see you when you see you. Why so serious? World?
Cheers. See you soon.
Kisses. Thank you, Orlando.
Okay, have a good day.
You too, sir.